Hello and welcome to a special presentation by What's Your Damage? What's Your Damage Long Shots, where for the next 2 months, releasing every Friday, we will be playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians, designed by April Kit Walsh and released by Evil Hat Productions. We hope you enjoy, and remember, stay thirsty, my friends. That as you walk through the halls of Oftil Manor, every one of the rulers of Medelig and from the House Oftil has also been a champion of the Griffin games. Your archery off the back of a griffin upside down.
I still pull a little to the left sometimes, but...
Left! Oh, not left! The Lord and the Lady of the house do not want to encourage any sort of her delusions about becoming a singer.
Lady, you represent your house out there.
And also you should work on your upside down archery if you would, please.
I'll see what I can do.
It's the sound of the buckle giving way. I've heard it before, just not in this situation. And like my eyes go wide, and then there's this faint slip, and then air just beneath me. So I start to roll, and as I roll, like going, that's what I trained for, but when I trained for, there's a net, there's no net, there's no net, and then poof, Manth is there.
I'm rolling back, and this may not be relevant at all. When Ray missed the roll, was there a mechanical effect in game?
I would definitely put frightened on this.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because right now, Oriole is consoling Katinka, which then could qualify for the emotional support move. You know, so if she's got a condition, like this might be a good way to showcase some of the rare mechanics of this particular.
I think that is a perfect thing. Yeah. Could Oriole, can you roll me a emotional support?
And let's do.
And then you either can add heart or spirit.
Oh, I will add spirit to that. That is 9.
In theory, what would happen is that Oriole would verbalize this from one of those rewards basically for that.
Awesome. Yeah. So you are offering support to Katinka. How are you offering support?
Well, like she had gone up to a spree and was immediately like, as soon as it was like it ripped or it broke, she was like, fuck the spree, I don't give a shit about you, you asshole. And then hustled over to Katinka, started like looking her over, making sure she's okay, and then very, very calmly like, okay, what helps me? Okay, Katinka, okay, look at me, focus at me. Okay, so,
Okay, all right.
Okay, just breathe in, very smooth, let it out, very smooth. Okay, you're safe, you're on the ground, you're okay. The griffins are all okay, which is the most important thing. Obviously. And we'll figure out what happened here. And the key is, though, that you are safe and you are here, and we will figure this out. So deep breath in and deep breath out.
Okay, all right, yeah. Okay. I shot him, though. That was...
You did,
bad.
but of all the people that you could shoot, it was him, and that's, the least likely to get anyone angry. You made your captain very, very happy. I think she smiled, honestly. Before she, completely freaked out and gallantly leapt onto her griffin and came, swooping into the air to save you.
She can smile?
It's kind of a very pretty smile, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of wish I'd seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to shoot him again, but...
You know what? We'll figure out other ways to make her smile. How's that?
No, that sounds like a good plan, yeah.
Remember, she smiles.
She smiles at violence. Okay.
So, much like griffins, they do enjoy a bit of violence. Have you ever seen a griffin, just go to town on a hank of meat?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah, they enjoy violence too. So, she's a bit like a griffin like that. Just think of her in griffin terms.
Between you and me, sometimes I used to take Sunheart out to the country and I just buy him a cow for himself.
Oh, yeah. I actually knew that. He told me.
But yeah, I think you've successfully distracted her from the fact that she just fell out of the fucking saddle.
Yeah, and I think that qualifies as a open ups to you. So you get to
the subject of the support.
Right. So Katinka gets to choose clear a condition, mark XP, get a +1 going forward, or gain insight from the game master about an obstacle facing one of you.
And to explain the +1 forward, that gives you a bonus on rolls for I don't know for how long, but going forward is like maybe your next roll in the future or something like that.
I believe it is for the next one in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So since I'm under the frightened condition, I will choose to clear the frightened condition. That will prevent me from running the fuck away from the scene, which is what I probably should have done. But I guess that is the point at which she reminds herself of the saddle.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's also, just not to break in too much here, narratively, like if you, for example, choose to keep the frightened, you could then play that as a way to stay out of the race. You know what I mean? That you're too shooken up. I'm not counseling you to do it. I'm more just saying in some situations, keeping conditions can be a desired outcome in this game.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I see what you're saying.
Okay. Yep. Cool. Yep. And I'm not trying, again, you're making the right choice for this story. I just am feeling compelled to jump in for little tweaks and explanations of this particular system.
Oh no, I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That does actually add a lot to it, because when I realized she had the frightened condition, I'm like, oh, that's actually a good indicator that maybe I shouldn't do what all of my D&D instincts are, which is to go toward the problem. Maybe I should just run away.
But you choose to get rid of the condition.
In this case, I think she's a trained princess, and I feel like she's going to try and run toward the problem, even if she doesn't want to.
Yeah, I think I think for the character, that's the right call.
Yeah, thanks to Oriole's emotional support, she's able to, I think you termed it, forget that she just fell out of the GD sky. She has a problem with her saddle and the buckles, which Captain Manth has in her hands.
Yeah, I'm studying the buckles. I'm trying to see if there's anything that I can discern from looking at them. I don't see a move in here for that. The closest one might be call on toxic power.
No, I think that actually works perfectly for this, because it's not literally a power, but it is a thing that is toxic and influencing this scene. So
right, it could be I think it's I'm gonna call the cops and see what they have to say. I'm gonna ask someone, some power structure or people I don't like. In this case, a toxic power could be me asking a spree, who is someone who I don't like but might have information that is important.
Yeah, that is definitely one of your options for that. So you would like to call in a toxic?
Yeah, and it's the first thing I thought of, and so I don't know what would fit appropriately for it to investigate this particular thing, or if there's a new NPC that we toss in.
Well, it's so funny that you ask about that, because as the house is losing their GD minds, what with Katinka falling from the literal sky, you hear a couple of murmurs coming from the reception hall on this floating manor. And you see a golden dragonborn appear by the name of Conwell. For all of your characters, I believe that Conwell is a family friend. The most notable thing about Conwell is he has a rather large patch over his eye. He's a one-eyed dragonborn, and he always seems to appear at important times or times when he needs money, because he's always needing money.
It's all those gambling debts.
He has so many gambling debts from so many different places. It's reputed that he owes someone half a cow.
I think that was a whole cow. Thank you.
But he is also reputed to be exceedingly knowledgeable and, despite his peculiarities, someone who is good in the pinch. But as these two things are happening, as like the world is spinning around the three of you, Darbin immediately rushes up to his daughter. He's like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Oh God, maybe you shouldn't do it tomorrow. Oh God. He's freaking out. And he's like trying to pat you down to make sure that you're okay.
Oh no, he's patting me down?
Yeah, just trying to like make sure that you didn't hurt yourself or...
Is there any reaction when one of my pockets jingles?
Yes, there is. And we will see that in just a moment. As that is happening, Oriole, I think you and Conwell get along particularly well.
Oh, yes.
Even though he isn't a griffin, which is like your main thing.
He's golden and it kind of, it glints like, griffins' feathers.
Right, yeah. He is a golden dragonborn, but he takes after Eastern dragon. His frame is like very athletic, but his paunch points to...
Yeah, he's the dude of golden dragon.
He is.
Yeah, he is 100% the dude of golden dragons. As he calls out, he's like, "Oh, wow. What happened here?"
Well, a few things have happened here today. Where would you like me to start?
I guess the falling princess would be a good beginner.
So, she was training as she is wont to do, and the buckles broke apparently on the saddle.
Well, I hate that for everybody.
But we should note that the formidable captain sprang to her rescue, and it was very heroic and gallant, and possibly we should all be swooning right now.
Yeah, he says, and like if you want to use Conwell, who's just arrived, to see if he can figure out something, he's not toxic, so I don't think he would.
Yeah, so I don't think so either. And also, given that this is called Thirsty Sword Lesbians, if there's a lesbian that I could consult with to, perhaps, who's a hot toxic lesbian?
Oh, let's get you a hot toxic lesbian.
My thought was someone, law enforcement or
I was
criminal.
going to suggest, though, perhaps you should talk to the really hot leather-working lesbian. That might be a good place to start. Just a suggestion.
Because there is her, and if you want somebody who's like law enforcement, you definitely have the head of the guards, who I think you may have worked with before you got your assignment as Katinka's minder. And her name is Alsic.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that in the mechanics of the game, that Alsic would probably more represent the toxic power. But I think also narratively that I would want to speak to the leather worker. And that was the person that was in earlier in the game.
So if you want to get information from Callan, and then maybe if you need to make a move.
Oriole.
Yes.
Can you please talk to Callan and see if she knows anything about what might have happened? Look, these buckles should not have snapped. I want to know...
Okay.
Who's held the saddle? Who's had access? Has she seen anything?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go talk to Alison.
Well, not to break in here, but Oriole, I saddled him myself. I didn't see anything, I didn't think, but you were the last person other than me that touched it. It was just sitting in the stall. Did you see anyone else around the stable?
Well, no, I mean, I was in the stables all day, and, there were the griffins, and they were me. Your saddle was there for most of the day from yesterday. Callan came to ask me about the thing that I asked you, which I wasn't supposed to bring up, but I did by mistake. So there was that. and then Callan left, and then I left to come find you, and then we went in there, and then the whole thing with that. So the answer, no.
All right.
As that's happening, Darbin hits the jingle of the bells. What is this?
My money pouch?
Cling, cling. Money doesn't make that sound.
It's foreign currency.
Okay. Distracted by your songs. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my daughter to go and join me, he says as he helps you up.
I mean, shouldn't I, Spree needs attention.
We have a whole household for that.
Of course, Father. Whatever you ask.
And I think Con will want to tag in on this. I'll be like, you mind if I just come in?
Please.
Yeah, hell yeah. You notice that he gives the scene a once over with his good eye before disappearing with Darbin and Katinka. We have Captain Manth wanting to call on a toxic power, which is Alsic. Okay, Captain Manth, are you still holding the item?
I still have the saddle, and do I think I have the authority to bring or to ask Alsic to come here to talk to me?
Yeah, I think you would believe that you were able to ask for her.
Okay, I'm going to grab like a random milling about person who I feel I have authority over and ask them to get Alsic here immediately.
Very good, madam. As they just takes off into a full sprint.
Oh, could it be that I had to leave a job to get this job of guarding Katinka? Could Alsic then be my replacement?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So like I was formerly the captain of the guard or whatever the title would be.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
So maybe my captain is really little loosey-goosey with the titles there, man. Perhaps not the captain anymore.
But I do like the idea that because it's a week into
people
this,
still call me captain.
Yeah. Because you had been captain for a while, I imagine.
Yeah, I think that works.
I like the idea that like Alsic was your number 2. And so like there is a feeling that you can still call on them like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and again, to break out, I feel like this is a key difference with powered by the apocalypse systems. Where like, if we were playing D&D, I don't think I would be like, hey, this is what I think this NPC should be, because that would be in your purview.
Right.
But in this game, we as the players with this system do have that ability.
Would Alsic be one of those people that you have a string with?
I think some might develop. I didn't have one at the start of the game, so it could be that it's clear. Whatever situations we've had have cleared. We're back at neutral now that it's been a week. But I'm sure coming into this and me calling on a toxic power and whatever else is going to happen, strings are probably going to start flying around.
Yeah. So in that case, as Alsic arrives, roll me. You're calling a toxic power.
Okay. And then this is spirit is the thing I add to it, which I have a 0.
Nice.
I rolled a 12 and I don't feel comfortable that I rolled a 12. I rolled twice and I rolled an 11 and then I rolled a 12 and I don't know what's happening.
Go with it.
Yeah, well, it's also a game where failure is arguably rewarded because it's how you get experience points. So it's, yeah, I'm going to say I was kind of bummed.
Well, you will get a +1 going forward. As Alsic arrives dressed in royal wear of the Royal Guard, she takes you in, you're her former captain, and she goes, "What do you ask of me, Manth?"
Take a look at the saddle. I'm also assuming that everyone has general griffin familiarity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Damaged saddles are not like mysteries.
I will say that to make this person toxic, back in the old days, there was a feeling that perhaps Alsic was loose with their sword.
Hey, you know what? AGAB. You know, that's I'm calling it a toxic power that I was previously the head of. You know, it's the guards.
So she will answer whatever question you have. So what's your question that you want her to answer?
I need to know if there is anyone that the guard has any suspicions of that are out to get Tinka or to in any way disrupt the game?
There are a couple of people, especially with the Roland house, who, being cousins, maybe a little bit more than kin, a little bit less than kind. You understand what I'm saying?
I immediately know that arrogant little shit, or at least that's what I'm thinking.
Right. Yeah. She looks it over. And from what I understand, what with Oriole being called away yesterday to go handle whatever things Griffin girls deal with, there was an opportunity for someone who was deeply familiar with these grounds to get a little bit too familiar. Do you want to bust some heads?
I'm not the captain. You're the captain. I'm asking you, favor as a friend, to follow up on this. See, did you say his name? Katinka's cousin that I'm now being super suspicious of?
What is Katinka's cousin's name?
Your rival.
Katinka, no.
Katinka. Katinka. Oh.
Katinka, sure.
Let's call him Tab.
Tab?
I need you to keep tabs on Tab.
Well, that's easy to remember. I will keep an eye out. And maybe, if there's any resistance, she smiles malevolently to herself. I'll let you know, Manth.
Thank you, Elsic.
Anytime. As she walks away, immediately, seemingly whispering some orders to another one of the guard. As that happens, we have Oriole with Callan, who is still looking at this saddle, like trying desperately to figure out what to do.
So, any thoughts at all?
There was. I thought it was strange. Like, did you get that order yesterday? Where, what do you say? The guard who slipped from their griffin in town yesterday called all of us to check in on them.
Right. It was very odd, the whole thing. You know, his griffin had no idea what happened, and the griffin said it was almost like he'd fallen off on purpose. It's very weird.
I mean, that's the best that I could think of. And I did call you away, and I know my leather. I know that I fucking kill it, TBH.
I know, Callan.
And you're amazing with. She just stops at amazing.
Right.
Anywho.
Thanks. Anyway, so yeah, also don't be mad, but I kind of buggered up your request.
Uh-huh. Oh, you did the exact opposite thing that I was hoping for.
Yeah, kind of on multiple occasions.
Oh.
And then I did try to, backtrack a little bit, and I said that I had messed it up and that I wasn't supposed to mention you. Anyway, I don't think, Katinka liked that very much. I don't think she blamed you necessarily. But also, and then I was trying to suggest that maybe she could just have an homage to bells and she could have blue bells on there or something. I don't know. Also, apparently she wanted actual bells. She wanted hooks on the saddle so that she could hook actual bells, like the tingling, tingling bells, onto the saddle. It wasn't supposed to be like an embossed bell or a griffin-shaped bell or bell-shaped griffin or whatever. It was supposed to be, hooks for bells so that she could make noise while she's flying, like actively noise, which I feel like is going to be very, very bad for the griffins. I don't think that is necessarily a good thing. Not even just her griffin, but like all of the griffins, because could you imagine trying to fly and shoot and you just get... It'd be very distracting for them. And very upsetting, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put something that you can choose to do here. She goes, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. To be honest. However, she's kind of in between. Like, if you want to help out Katinka here by like persuading her to add a bell, you can, or you can just keep her with the, I don't think that sounds great. But that's your choice.
Mm. Well, I mean, though, it could just be one bell. Maybe we could just have like one bell on the collar, like, right up, kind of, like one tingling, very small tingling.
So, with this, I'm going to have you roll entice.
Oh, plus heart, my plus 0. I don't know. Do I want to fail? I don't know. Do I want to succeed? I don't know. Oh, that's 9. Oh, no. 11 total. I can math.
Okay, you have an 11 total.
Second option is promise something they think you want.
And you gain a string on them, apparently.
Oh.
You now have a string on her.
The other choices are for the people at home: get flustered and awkward, or give in to desire.
I'm going to say that she, as you continue to go on your treatise about bells and like maybe just one bell, you notice that she gets deeply red. Maybe you're oblivious to this. It seems like you wouldn't catch this, but she's just
super oblivious to this.
Yeah, as the entire time, her eyes were watching your mouth just just continue to talk. As she gets flustered, she goes, "Oh yeah, sure, that sounds great."
Okay, so one bell, perfect. One little tingling bell. Okay.
Do you like to tingling?
Oh, please, I need a minute.
See, this is the kind of game where also now we would check in with each other. Like, did Elliott cross a line with the tingling? Do we need to?
No, he just killed her a little. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, this could be. Yeah, but this is a good opportunity. If that was like too suggestive, like this would be a good one.
Oh God. Anyway, no, that was really funny. Because it's also like incredibly dorky. Like, do you like to tingle? Anyway, I think that all of this is completely going over Oriole's head. So she's just gonna pause, like, with like her elbow braced in one hand and like her chin resting on the palm of her other hand, kind of just like, do I like to sing? I've never really thought of myself as a musical sort. I do enjoy music, obviously, as listening to music. And, I don't necessarily agree with Katinka's, wanting to go and be a bard, because why would you go live a life of bard when you have all of this here? All of the griffins and everything, and, all of that. But, music is good. So, maybe I could sing a little. I don't know.
God bless it. As that's happening, we have Katinka with Darbin and Alessandra. Conwell follows behind at a respectful distance. As you guys reach the main entrance of the royal hall, Darbin turns to you and says to you, Katinka, I'm going to talk to your mother real quick about what happened here, and then we'll bring you in, he says as he dips in and walking hurriedly. As the two guards are outside, you are alone with Conwell. How are you doing, kid?
I think she tried to say something to her dad and then just like no words came out. So she ended up just like, she had like one finger raised and then just put it down.
Oh, uh-huh.
And then she just closes her eyes. And she'll start to cross her arms and put her hands down at her side and straighten her spine. And then remember that Conwell is in the room. Just like glances behind her and then like does a double take. Conwell is there. She is not alone. And will just plaster a smile on her face. Hi. I didn't really get a chance to say earlier. I'm glad you can make it for the games.
Oh yeah, wouldn't miss him for the world. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm good. I fell, which is weird.
More than a little weird. More than weird.
Yeah, I can't believe I missed that. I saddled him myself.
He begins to think about this. He goes, Huh. Oh, that would make sense.
What?
Down below in the main city, I saw discarded what looked like a genuine off-till manor saddle.
That's not something we usually just discard. I'm sorry, I should have been paying attention earlier, but I mean, Dad, did you happen to tell Manth about that? Or, I guess it would be Alsic now.
Yeah, I'm not good around those kinds. You know me.
Yeah.
More comfortable with royalty, I guess. I like the excess.
You are gold.
I am. And you can tell that he is hiding something from you.
Oh, well,
Mm-hmm.
we've been buddies for a long time, right?
I think most of your life.
I think all of my life, maybe.
Yeah, you did bite me when you were a baby.
Did?
And like when she asked that, I think she's just like kind of shadow boxed at his leg.
But, you know, if you know something about what happened, especially if it might keep it from happening again, you could tell me.
Oh. No, I don't have anything on that, but your singer's coming into town tonight and they're having a competition.
Oh, yeah, no, I heard. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be so great, right? We're all doing this one song. It's in one of the old sea shanty about a siren. You probably already know it. I've been practicing for weeks.
Are you going to go?
I mean, of course not. It's the night before the games. Why would I go?
Yeah. Hopefully I don't see you there, he says with a wink, which just looks like a blink from him.
I think I know Conwell's like intentional blinks. His weighty blinks. And she just winks back at him. It's like, definitely won't.
Give your parents my best. I don't have what they asked for, but I will soon, maybe.
What did they ask?
And she starts asking as he walks away, I'm sure.
Oh. Hello, Captain Manth, he says as he walks past.
Conwell, how are you feeling?
Like I fell out of a saddle. It's never happened before.
It shouldn't have happened.
Actually, about that, Conwell was just saying he saw one of our saddles down on the mainland.
On the mainland?
Yeah, no, he seemed pretty sure about
An off-till saddle?
Yeah. And I mean, I just use a standard one for my usual training, so...
Possible somebody swapped out?
Possible. I should have recognized that wasn't my normal one, or that the straps weren't right. I should have seen that. Why didn't I see that?
You have a lot. I was arguing with a spree. It's understandable.
I guess. Thank you. Thank you for trying to make me feel better.
I speak only the truth, my lady.
I noticed that, yeah.
As you guys have your conversation, the doors open up and you see Alessandra and Darbin there. And Alessandra is at the door and she goes, Captain Manth, we're going to talk to our daughter. It's a family sort of conversation. You understand?
I understand.
Yes, a family thing, she says as she ushers Katinka in. Anything that Katinka wants to say to Manth before?
I think there was like one, I don't know if it'd be subtle, but there was one like look over her shoulder that was almost a plea, and then she just straightens up and goes into princess mode again, and it does what her mother tells her to.
Can I do a thing? There's a basic move, figure out a person. Can I try to figure out Tinka?
Oh,
with the look?
Would you be open to that, Katinka?
Yeah, go for it.
I rolled a 6 and I have +1 wit. So that's a 7. So it's a little weird because like she's being hustled away and I'm kind of jumping in at the end of the scene, but I can ask 2 questions and then Katinka can ask me 1.
Can we run it like an insight kind of thing of like what we might have ascertained after like the last day, like half day of dealing with each other. Would that work?
That works for me. That works for you guys.
Yeah. So for me, for the role I get, and what I'd be trying to ascertain is what are Katinka's feeling towards this meeting that she's about to have with her parent? And how would Katinka feel if I left her to this meeting on her own? I'm kind of trying to read the eye look to see if it's like, I don't like this, but I'm fine, or I don't like this, maybe keep an eye out for me.
I think you would have begun to understand that at this point in time, Katinka is very used to every conversation with her parents being negative. And she has begun to dread any moment spent alone in their company.
Okay.
She doesn't want to be left alone, but she also doesn't have anyone who can or will stand between her and them. And she understands that literally can't happen. Like, it's not even that no one wants to, it's that they are too powerful, and this is not something that anyone can prevent.
Okay.
So while a part of her wanted to try and protest, she does not want to put you in that situation or anyone in that situation.
Good. All right. And then if you're interested, you get to non-verbally ask back questions from the list.
Yeah, like
that I can try to convey with my intense eyes.
Let's see. I think she's been trying to get a feeling over the past week or so of how you actually feel about this assignment, given that you were the captain of the freaking guard and now you're just following her around. Like, so I guess in this moment, is it resentment or resignation or annoyance?
No, in this moment, it's none of them. There's the urge to go into the room, but know that Darbin and Alessandra almost certainly don't want me in there. So if there's anything in the look of my eyes, it's basically like, you say the word and I charge into that room. You know what I mean? I follow behind you, come what may.
Aw.
Because I'm devoted.
I think that does actually help. I don't know if it would even be noticeable necessarily, but her shoulders relax a little bit more into the straight princess posture. Because at least you wanted to, and you did just save my life.
Yeah. Okay, as she heads in with her parents, does Captain Manth and Oriole reconvene?
Yeah, I would like to. I'm going to go look for Oriole.
Yeah, Oriole, who was it? Go for it.
Oh, I was going to say that, like, after she leaves Cal with whatever the fuck that was, I would like to use may I use wild friends, and may I speak to the griffins, and may I ask them if they saw anything like super sus yesterday?
Absolutely, you may. So unsurprisingly, the nature witch goes to the griffin stable to talk to her friends, and let's see, and that's just her free for nothing. Yeah. And may influence them with strings, just like other NPCs near your home or anywhere. You spend animal and plant friends are always nearby when you want them. Okay, yeah. So as you head over to them, the griffins are there and available to talk to you. What would you like to ask them?
Well, I'll ask them what they saw when we all left yesterday, for one. And then also ask them if they saw anything in between the point when I left earlier and then when Katinka came in. So in between those two periods.
The griffins answer with, yes, there was a strange woman who entered. We did screech. However, she made an incantation, and even though we were screeching, we could not hear each other. And she took what looked to be an old saddle and magicked it into a facsimile of Katinka's natural saddle.
Oh, okay. Okay. Could you describe this woman in any type of detail?
Dark hair with emerald green eyes, tan skin, a rather strange color of her lip.
All right. Sure. Okay. Great. That is very good. Could you describe how she smelled?
Of course, she smelled of elderberries and wine.
All right. Okay, perfect. That is very good. Thank you so very much. You're such good darlings. Oh, and then she'll give them all scratches.
And as you're scratching the last one says, "Oh, and when you left after Callan, a little mouse appeared, and we tried to get it, but it was very focused on the harness."
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Did you happen to see which way that mouse went?
Towards the palace.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Oh, my good darlings. I love you all so much. All right. I will give you treats later, but not now because I have a very important job to do. Goodbye, darlings. And then she's going to scurry off towards the palace.
And as she heads off towards the palace, she sees Captain Manth there making her way to you.
Oh, Captain. I have some interesting news.
What did Cullen say?
So, well, Callan didn't really know anything, although she did ask me if I liked tingling, and I don't know.
It's all about the bells with that one today.
Anyway, so that was kind of, a dead end, as they say. But I talked to the griffins.
Excuse me?
And they said that yesterday. Callan had reminded me of this. We were called away at one point because one of the guards had fallen off the griffin in town and we had to go. But it all seemed very suspicious. And his griffin at the time told me that it seemed very odd because it was almost like he'd done it on purpose. So, that was weird at the time. Anyway, but we were all called away yesterday because of that. And then apparently yesterday, when that was happening, there was a strange woman who visited the stables. And the griffins all said that they tried to, screech and, make noise because it was a strange person and they were, upset. But there was magic that was silencing them and they couldn't hear each other. Anyway, and then this woman took an old saddle and kind of magicked it into a replica of Katinka's saddle and put it there and replaced it. And, she had dark hair and emerald eyes and tan skin, and she, smelled of elderberries and wine. She had a strange color to her lips, which I don't really know what that means, but, the griffins, and they don't really understand, what we look like. Anyway, so there was that. But there was a mouse, and I need to go find the mouse and talk to them.
That was a lot more information from the griffins than I would have expected.
No one ever understands that they're highly intelligent.
The idea of talking to animals isn't unknown. That's clearly a thing that can happen. But just the wall of information that came at me has me a little more okay. Yeah. Snacks. Yeah. Green eyes, elderberries.
Yep. So that's a whole thing. Anyway, but I really should find this mouse because the mouse, they tried to they love to hunt mice. Did you know that? Anyway, they love to hunt mice. But they couldn't get the mouse because the mouse was very intent on the saddle. And I think the mouse might have known something. So now I need to go find the mouse. And the mouse apparently lives in the palace. So now I need to go hunting for the mouse palace. Palace mouse.
This is a very adorable investigation.
So, anyway, so that's what I'm doing. Would you like to come with?
If the mouse has as much information as the griffins, I absolutely would like to follow this thread. I heard of a replica saddle that made its way into town. And if this emerald-eyed woman duplicated a saddle, she may have taken Katinka's original with her.
This is very, very true. Okay, so I do want to find the mouse. Okay, I need to think like a mouse now. So, I need to think very small. And if I was a mouse, where would I like to hide? Oh, probably the kitchens because there's cheese. Let's go to the kitchens. Just gonna hurry off to the kitchen.
As you hurry off to the kitchens, we have Katinka with Darbin and Alessandra, and it has been silent for the past 5 minutes as Alessandra is holding her chin, looking at her daughter and thinking.
I think finally, after, that solid, silent 5 minutes goes past. Like,
I'm okay, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
In case you were wondering.
I did, but your father reassured me. Okay. I don't know how to say this, but I don't feel comfortable with you being our representative. So I'll go in your stead.
So I mess up once and I'm out. Huh?
There are degrees.
What does that mean? Exactly.
This wasn't misspeaking at a formal function. This wasn't making a minor error. You shot a spree and fell out of it.
And my harness snapped.
She says as Darbin is looking sorrowfully at both of you.
I know shooting a spree wasn't good.
To whom much is given, much is expected. Well, with this being decided.
Yeah, have fun.
And then she gets up and walks out.
As she does, I think she sees our two other heroes hoofing their way towards the kitchen. What is she doing?
After slamming the door to her mother's office, she stands there, taking several deep breaths, half expecting someone to open it, but knowing they're not going to. And do the other two even stop?
I was following along the mouse investigation, but if I see Katinka, I would more, like, oh, where's she going?
If she heard the footsteps, she would look up.
How did the meeting with your parents go?
Oh, this looks like a party. Where are we going?
Oriole?
Oriole has not stopped. Oriole did not notice anything happened. Oriole is still on the way to the kitchen.
We're in the middle of a animal-based investigation. I don't know if that sounds more appealing than a meeting with your parents.
Yeah, basically anything sounds more appealing than a meeting with my parents right now. So, animal investigation, sure.
And she'll just start following along.
They're not going to let you fly, are they?
No. I should be happy. I should be happy. This is happy. This is a good thing. Exactly what I wanted.
As you are heading to meet back up with Oriole, who has a mouse on her mind. Oriole, as you enter, you see that there are no cooks. However, you do hear a squeak.
She goes down on all fours and is crawling around, like with her head very close to the floor. She's trying to get as close to mouse level as she can. Like her ass is probably in the air. She's just like crawling around, like with hello. I need to speak with one of you. Just for a moment, please.
As you were crawling around, I do think you see a mouse. However, this mouse looks a little bit different from the regular kinds that you are used to. Not like the deer mice, but like a white mouse with a black mark across its neck.
Hello there.
It squeaks at you, and even though you know that it should be able to converse with you since that's your power, its eyes hold you, and even though they're tiny, this mouse is thinking something as it suddenly takes a dash away from you.
I was going to say that as soon as it squeaked at me, and I knew it wasn't responding like it should or how it always has worked, I would try and grab it.
Okay, in that case, let's go with an attack and let's see what happens.
And then that's just for It's with daring, right?
It's daring or grace, actually.
Oh, daring or grace.
I didn't realize that, but yeah, it is.
Beautiful. I will choose grace because my daring is -1. Oh, that's a whole 4.
Okay, I will say your hands wrap around this mouse as it gives you a sharp bite. You get the condition. Let me look at the conditions here. I'll go with angry on this one. As it chomps down and dashes away, it fully evades your grasp. Does she swear?
I think she lets out a kind of shriek that's kind of reminiscent of a griffin shriek. Just like that, probably the griffins would be like, my God, that curse is out of her mouth. Oh dear. I think too, she like trying to reach it like on all fours, and then she gets bit, and then she just like pulls her hands back and plops down on her butt, and like is grasping her hand at her chest, like me.
As you hear a screech from the kitchen, what does Manth and Katinka do? Do you hasten your pace?
Yeah. Go running in there and Oriole, what's wrong? What happened?
As you are asking that, you do see a small little mouse butt go underneath the door leading away, and
I'm going after the mouse.
Me.
That can spread rabies.
Okay, and Manth, you're following along?
Absolutely.
Okay, as you guys start to chase the mouse, you can see that the mouse quickly sees the two of you, like following after it. It dashes underneath one of the floorboards, which leads directly to the bottom layer of House Oftil.
I mean, it's a mouse going under a floorboard. That's what I'm seeing right now, and I'm like, okay, we should have gotten those cats. I keep telling them, house cats.
No, I don't think that's a mouse. It squeaked at me.
What did it say before it ran?
Squeak.
Squeak?
It went squeak. And I'm saying that squeaked at me. So squeaking would be not an animal response. That would be somebody or something that is pretending to be the animal. If I wanted to suddenly speak infernal to you and I just like kind of, gutturally growled at you or something because it kind of vaguely sounded like something. But you'd be like, what the hell, woman? And we need to follow it.
Unbelievably, I agree.
You know what? I don't know what's going on, but sure, let's follow the mouse.
Because the mouse squeaked, we think it might not be a mouse.
It also did not look like the normal mice around here. No, all of the little mice that we have.
What did it look like?
It was white and it had a black streak.
Oh, I mean, can a mouse not be white with a black streak?
Oh, the mice around here aren't like that. It was an out-of-place mouse. It was an out-of-place mouse who squeaked. And that is not normal. Mice don't squeak.
She would know. Right? Where did it go?
There is a door leading down.
Let's try the door.
The basements? The cellars? I mean,
And then where does this lead? Is it just...
There's like a whole dock down there, and then...
Oh, there's a dock. So
I can actually show you what I found one time.
And she's going to like open the door and head down into the basement.
As you head down to the basement, it is surprising because the wind lashes and it shouldn't be open currently. And at the very end of the dock, you see a mouse looking around frantically before the three of you arrive. It turns to you, sees the three of you, and suddenly transmorphs into a rather large orcish woman who goes, well, I guess the jig's up, huh?
Oh. Yeah, I told you it wasn't a mouse.
And we'll cut it there.
No!
Hello, and thank you for listening to this special presentation of What's Your Damage, long shot, Thirsty Sword Lesbians edition. Katinka Oftil was played by Ray Palmer, Oriole was played by Kate Ingram, and Captain Manth was played by Douglas Gale. The Game Master was Elliott Rose. Audio engineering was done by Elliott Rose, including sound effects and music.
Thanks for listening to the show. You can find more of What's Your Damage on Apple Music and Spotify or on our website, wydpod.com. We've got maps, just gorgeous character art, and tons of lore for Oneasaeno. There's also going to be a sign up for our newsletter, which features content warnings for all episodes upon release because we think that's super important. And for those of you that want to chat with us on social media, because you love us so much, you can find us at WYD Pod, and that's WYDPODD on Instagram and Threads, as well as a bunch of others listed on our website. In case you don't like those first two, you can find us elsewhere, because if there's a place to be, we're probably there already. So, please stop by, say hi. We would all genuinely love to hear from you.